The movie starts and we see a man named Mo entering a police station. He's a martial artist, and as he walks in we see that his face is covered with blood and bruises. The police officers are shocked to see him in this condition and right away go on to ask him what happened to him. He tells the police officer that he just killed someone. They're shocked to learn this, but they have no other choice to arrest him right away. We then go on to learn that Mo had a match earlier, and while he was fighting his opponent, he lost control and ended up killing his opponent despite the fact that he had no intentions of doing that. Mo is a man of principles. He knows that he has done the wrong thing. Despite knowing that it was an accident, he still goes on to turn himself in, and this is where the scene changes. It has been 3 years since this incident took place. We see a lady officer named Luck, and she's been called to look into a crime scene where murder took place. They tell her that the victim was a boxer, and when she takes a close look at the body, she notices broken limbs and ribs. The victim also has blood clots around his eyes. They then go on to assume that this man has been tortured very badly before the killer finally killed him. When they call the doctor to take a look at the victim, the doctor has a different theory. He goes on to say that this man must have gotten into a fight with someone who's really skilled. They then find a dagger on the crime scene as well. The scene then changes to Mo, who's been in prison for the last 3 years. He's often bullied by many of his inmates, but he tries to not get into any fights because he wants to pose his best behavior while he's in there, so he chooses to ignore the bullying he has to face despite the fact that he can very easily best them. When Mo is walking around in the hallway of the prison, he watches the news of the death of the man on TV. He's shocked to learn of the man's murder, and it seems like he's familiar with the victim, or the killer for that matter. He right away makes his way to the room where the guards sit. He tells the guard to put him through to the detective looking into this case. The guard, however, goes on to make fun of him and sarcastically asks him if he would like to have something else. Mo tells him that it is important, adding that it's about the murder of the boxer, and claims that he knows something about the murder. The guard, however, does not take him seriously and tells him to bugger off. Mo is pissed off when he's on his way back. The people who bully them, that whole group, is there again, and he goes on to beat the crap out of the inmates. He then breaks both arms of the man who leads the group. The fight is broken up when the prison guards get there, and Mo is taken away by the warden, who's very well aware of the fact that Mo is not generally like violence, so he does not understand why he did that. He understands that there must be something, because of which Mo wants to be in the spotlight. Finally, the man goes on to call Detective Luck, and they have a meeting. She goes to talk to Mo, and the man goes on to tell her that the man who died used to be his good friends. They even once fought, and Mo defeated him. He says that by the looks of it, whoever murdered his friend, they're going to keep doing this because there seems to be a specific pattern. Mo says that this man is not looking for money or revenge. This man just wants to fight for the best in the business. And he makes the fight to the death. Mo is not able to give the detective the right answer when she asks him why he thinks that, but he does go on to say that if he's let out of this prison, he can be useful to them while they try to find the murderer. As expected, the detective just thinks that Mo is just saying these things so that he can get out of this prison. Mo, however, gets pissed. He then goes on to give the woman 7 names. He claims that one of these men is going to be the next victim of this murderer Mo has fought and defeated all these good fighters. Luck does not believe it at all, but she still goes on to tell her men to find data on the 7 names recited by Mo. The scene then changes and we see someone working on their dagger to make it sharp, while the person writes the name King Yi on the wall. King Yi happens to be one of the people Mo named earlier, and he's working on a big skeleton in a museum currently. That day, when he's alone there working on his skeleton, a hooded figure shows up out of nowhere. It is presumably the killer. When he lands on the head of the skeleton for the first time, we go on to see his face. The man then tells King Yi that he's there to have a one-on-one fight with him and goes on to introduce himself as Feng Yuesao. King Yi is not a coward, so he right away accepts the challenge, and the fight begins. As it goes on, King Yi notices that this man is wearing higher shoes that give him a certain advantage in the fight. King Yi does not go down that easy and goes on to put up a hell of a fight. Yu Sol gets the upper hand when he breaks Ken Yu's leg, and the next thing we see King Yi is dead. And then Yi Sao walks out of the room. On the other hand, the detectives go on to look into the names given to Look by Mo. They find out that these people are not related in any way, and they're currently working in different fields and living in different areas of the city. The detective then tells her men to look into Mo's profile, and they learn that the man made a martial arts club and used to be a teacher there before he murdered another fighter and went to prison 3 years ago. His club is a successful one, and it has many people following it. They further go on to learn that the man was also recruited by the city police to instruct the officers in martial arts. Just as they talk about Mo, they're shocked to learn that another martial artist has been killed, and this man is from one of the 7 people named by Mo. The detective now knows that Mo was not bluffing and right away makes her way to the prison to Semo. The next thing we see, Mo is out of the prison, but he's to be under police custody all the time. He's out there. When Look gets to talk to him, Mo tells her that upon thinking, he's come to realize that this killer is following certain martial arts practice pattern to kill his victims. He adds that his first victim was a boxer, a man whose power was his hands. He then fought a man whose power was his legs, and now he's going to fight someone who's a good wrestler. Mo says that he knows a man who's a good wrestler, but we see that Yusoi is already there, and the fight has already started between the two. By the time the police get to the man, they only find the man's body. Mo looks at the body and realizes that this man has been thrown out of the window of the building nearby, and he also happens to have the same scar made by the same dagger. When Mo toward the building, he saw a man standing in the window, and Yusoi goes on to smile. As he looks into Mo's eyes, Mo realizes that he is the murderer. Mo right away goes on to chase him, and so do the other detectives. The man is, however, way quicker than all of them, and on top of that he shows great heart and skill by jumping from one building to another, leaving Mo in shock as he disappears. Mo then goes on to make his own move. When he escapes police custody, he makes his way to his hometown and right away meets his beloved wife. She's thrilled to see her husband after 3 long years. They right away go home, and she binds a wristband on his arm, telling him that it's going to help him control himself when he's in a fight so that he does not make the same mistake that got him into prison. Later on, when Mo is going through his stuff, he's shocked when he finds the murderer's dagger in his belongings. When he asks her where did she get the dagger from, his wife tells him that a man came to their club a few months ago. He was limping and he had this dagger. He told her to keep it to herself. The two decide to go to a historian to learn what the symbol on the dagger means, and the scene changes to Usao when he's with his late wife who suffered from cancer. He could see his wife dying in his arms, but he was unable to do anything about it. She was the only one who loved him truly, and when she was on her deathbed, the man practiced martial arts day in and day out. He tried his best to stop himself from thinking about his dying wife. On the other hand, the historian tells the couple that the symbol on the dagger means Eve Swallow. Mo then mentions USA's name and goes on to learn that man's one leg is shorter than the other, but despite that he was able to master the martial art like no other, and he lived with his wife who suffered from cancer. Mo right away calls the detective and tells her that he has a lead on the killer. They go to the man's house, but he's gone already. They then find writing on his wall saying, "I have lost everything in life. I just want to fight the best martial artist and become the best." The killer then, Hills, another one of the 7 men named by Mo and the detective, now gets a call from her superiors who tell her to quicken the pace of her work. The detective tells Mo to do the same, and then she goes on to feel like the man is hiding something from them. This is when we learn that No got a letter from Yusao. When he was in prison, he realized that he himself is the best fighter out there, and that Yusao wants to fight him as his last challenge. Look, on the other hand, goes on to order the prison guard to give her the CCTV footage of all of Mo's meetings with the outsiders. We learned that Mo received a letter when the first murder took place. The killer had asked him to watch the news. The SWAT team goes to USA's current house and comes really close to catching him, but he gets away. On the other hand, Look learns from the prison guard that Yusao had come to see Mo in the prison. She points a gun at Mo because she now thinks that he has planned the whole thing with Yusao to be able to get out of prison. Mo, however, snatches the gun away from her and manages to run away. On the other hand, Ning Mo's wife has the ashes of USA as wife, and when the killer comes to her house, she tells him to leave her husband alone as she shows him his wife as ashes. He then goes on to fight his wife, thinking that if he's able to kill Mo's wife, the man will definitely come to fight him and that is going to be some fight. However, Mo's wife herself is a good fighter and manages to put up a great fight before getting stabbed in her arm. She's then put down by USAO. In the meantime, her husband gets there, and when he finds his wife on the floor, he loses it. He then spots the man just outside the door and goes on to jump at him. Both of them land on a boat, and the container containing USA's wife's ashes breaks. USAO manages to get away on another boat, but soon gets crashed into another boat carrying Luke and her men. Mo's wife has taken to the hospital, and he also gets out of there before getting caught by the police. Both Mo and USAO have now disappeared from the police. Mo then calls the detective and tells her that he's the one who taught USAO many martial arts skills while he was in prison when they used to speak on the phone and through letters as well. He adds that he thought USAO was just a fan. Mo is aware of the next target, and using his knowledge, he confronts USAO just as he's on his way to kill his next target. Mo has the opportunity to kill him right away, but he chooses not to take it because he wants to fight the man. USAO is also happy to learn that his wish is going to come true, and the two joined hands as a token of respect before a fierce fight begins between the two. The fight goes on, and both of them are very skilled and have a somewhat similar style of fighting. But USAO seems to get exhausted soon, and taking advantage of that, Mo goes on to slam him to the ground. They then get bamboo sticks and go on to fight using those. Mo is then hit and dragged away by a container passing by, and he's knocked unconscious. Taking advantage of this, USAO is about to kill him, but Luke shows up from behind and goes on to shoot. You saw dead Mo is right away given first aids and then taken to the hospital. The scene changes and he's back in prison again. After a while, the man is seen having a meeting with Detective Luke, who informs him that he's going to be bailed out for a short while. The last scene of the movie shows Mo with his wife who's carrying a baby, and they take a group picture with the students in their club, and with that the movie comes to an end. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out.